Hello, hello. Welcome on into another episode of the Whiskey Crusaders. I'm Will.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Matt.
On today's episode, we're going to be talking about Kentucky Owl. We have their Confiscated Bourbon and their regular bourbon release. The regular bourbon release came out first. The Confiscated just recently came out, but we're going to taste them in kind of the reverse order because of the proof.
Okay, so the Kentucky Owl, the brand itself came out, it was a pharmacist in 1879, which was Charles Mortimer Dedman, had a parcel of land he received as a wedding gift from one of the judges that was his good friends, and he made the Wise Man's Bourbon, which was Kentucky Owl, and it's distilled spirit number 16. So it's one of Kentucky's original distilleries. Then Prohibition came, and basically they got completely screwed over. So what happened is, I guess, the temperance movement and everything, and then the feds came in 1916, and in one day took over 250,000 gallons of whiskey in different various ages of staging in barrels, shipped it up the river to Frankfurt to a warehouse for safekeeping. Well, magically, short thereafter, there was a fire, and it only lasted a few hours, and the whole thing burned to the ground. Well, he had that much whiskey, and that should lasted for days and days. So more than likely, Al Capone or some other gangster made off with all of it, and dead security guards tell no tales. So it ended up being about $40 million worth of whiskey in today's dollars. So yeah, that's a lot of whiskey being taken. About 100 years later, his great-great-grandson, Dixon Dedman, came up. He'd heard the family tale of bourbon and the legacy was in their family, and he said, hey, I'm going to put together a bourbon. He works at the Beaumont Inn, and in 2018, Stoli bought them. So they are now having a park that's being built called Kentucky Owl Park. It's on 420 acres. And it's limestone filtered. He's got these limestone filtered lakes around it. It's got these big pyramids and the designs, and a train coming to it. It's gonna be a really cool place. And basically it looks like an adult playground. It's Disneyland for adults with whiskey. So it looks pretty cool. But so basically, Confiscated is the name. The reason they named it this is in deference to the fact that all this whiskey was stolen back in the day, and that it's a tribute to his great-grandfather or great-great-grandfather's name. And so hopefully he'd be proud of it, and it's 48.2%. And so basically the other cool thing is they actually learned they make synthetic corks on this bottle. The other one is regular cork. All whiskey should be synthetic corks. But that's a different name for a different name. So let's get into the nosing and tasting on this.
Did you say, we said 48.2%?
Yeah, it doesn't smell, it smells way hotter.
Yeah.
This smells powerfully intense. Both on the proof and on just all of the aromas popping out of the glass. It's new oak, it's definitely corn.
Oh, you with your little scotchy noses. This is nothing. I get leather, I get caramel.
I get black pepper and dill.
It's woody. There's some tobacco in there. Baking spices.
Yeah.
Oak spices, vanillas and caramels for sure.
Yeah, exactly. The
There's
typical
cherry and apple.
typical bourbon notes. Yeah, like vanilla, caramel, bacon spices, oak. But it's also got like bread crust is what I came up with. I think is really interesting. But also, I don't know if there's rye in this mash
Like
one, but
crust or crumbs?
like crust.
I get
the anise in there for sure.
dill.
You get the dill. Okay, so I do die. But it's
Just in the background, it's very slight
Yeah,
amount of it.
I didn't get it at the
It pierces
beginning,
me.
but it eventually
It
it
pierces.
comes through. It pierces.
Right at the top of my nasal cavity, I get this like just piercing sensation when I smell
It
it.
says, oh my gosh, it's got
Yeah,
rye
it's friggin'
notes.
rye.
Yeah, because it's not there in the first scent, but then
And
after
in the
two or
background,
three,
it actually
it starts showing up.
I get a dusty kind of corn malt mash. If you've ever spent time in the distillery, the mashing process for corn is prevalent in the smell.
But it's also floral and vegetal, but also I pick up
In wonderful ways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in wonderful ways.
Yeah.
These are all good things.
Yes.
But the funniest thing, it took me back to, did you ever go on a field trip to a place where they had wet pottery, and they're making the wet pottery and they're rubbing their hands on it? It's that scent to me of that wet pottery going around and that spinning on that wheel.
You want to go flashback?
No, it's just what it smells like. I just remember going, I was like in second grade when on a field trip, and that's what it smells like to me. I was like, hey, it smells like that pottery lady. I don't know why, it just does.
Ooh.
The proof doesn't show up as much on the flavor.
No, it doesn't. It's well rounded.
It is very, very well rounded.
I do get that leather right up front as well,
Mhm.
and then kind of a tobacco-y, ashy type for me on the front.
It's spicy.
It's a growing spice.
It's like
really is.
like Red Hots.
Mm.
It's got
Yeah.
that cinnamon Red Hots.
First one's not so bad.
I get
Second
the
one gets a little
cinnamon.
spicier.
You get
Yeah.
It's woody. I get some honeysuckle back there. It's a.
It's also got a like a white grapey flavor I'm picking up. Brown sugar.
You are not lying on the red hots.
Crispy pie. It's got like
Cinnamon.
Yep.
a crispy pie crust as well, and some mint. But yeah, on the end, that just amps up. It's got that cayenne pepper type of flavor sensation. It just gets hotter and hotter on that finish.
Keeps growing.
It's a really good bourbon, though.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
The legs on that.
Yeah, it's got beautiful legs.
The water suppressed everything. I don't recommend it.
Interesting.
Right.
Everything got muted. Everything got dialed down.
Thanks for taking one for the team.
Heard that.
It's too bad because this is tasty. But yeah, the price on it, it's anywhere, I think they said the retail was like $125 to $150. But apparently for whatever reason it's not currently selling. But I think part of it is, I hate to say this, but I think when Stoli bought them, they went from price, they jumped the price a lot.
Yeah.
And that's the first Kentucky Owl that's available in all 50 states. So I don't know if it's just that stalling it, or if it's just the price and people are like, is it really worth it compared to the regular bourbon, which is, now granted, it's like $279 is retail, but I've seen it as high as $600 and up, because it's just so rare to get. Just some of the early batches of the bourbon, they made like 200 bottles, so it's just crazy. But
I enjoy
this is
this.
good. But yeah, this is good. I think for the money, I think it's fine. Is it worth it? I don't know money wise. But I think it's certainly worth getting. I mean, you're not going to be disappointed in this bourbon. I think it's going to still be really good for what it is.
It's definitely different.
Yeah.
I
The
like it.
proof they have it at is what it needs to be at, though.
Right.
Yeah. I think if this was
agree.
hotter, it might just be too damn hot.
Right.
As far as the proof goes.
They nailed it. No, well, that's what I'm saying, though. With the drop of water, everything
Yeah.
gets muted, everything gets dialed down. So I
Right.
feel like they kind of dialed this in right to where it needed
Yeah,
to be.
because this is their first bourbon that's under 100.
Mm.
So our first product even under 100. Everything, even the rye are over 100 proof. So yeah, but it's good though.
Man, you said red hots, and now I can't get that.
Yeah, it is. It is just red hots. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, it's good. All right, so I guess we'll switch over to the batch shade. This is batch shade of their bourbon, and it's 60.5%. It's bell proof, uncut, unfiltered.
Ooh.
Each batch they make is an original blended by Dixon himself. And so basically when he started to make the bourbon was the first product he made, he decided to start selecting and blending barrels from different places. And he did it in the back inn at in the back of the inn in a storage closet is where he was doing this, taking different ones, little samples from each distillery and putting them together. And he did it over and over and over to try, hundreds of different samples to come to this. And so basically it took him 6 years to get this magic bottle number 1, which came out in 2014. Now this isn't number 1, this is a batch 8, but that's how long it took him to get. So each batch is a completely different bourbon, but all really good. From everything I've ever heard, the other bourbons, they're all just fantastic. So let's see if we agree.
You can definitely tell the proof right up front.
Yeah, it's high. Powerfully intense, new oak and corn.
Yeah, I get the oak up front.
Mm-hmm.
Caramel,
Vanilla,
butterscotch.
It's a really thick caramel butterscotch, like
Yeah.
really thick, like drizzling, like ice cream topping. Not so much in the sweetness, but in the thickness of the smell.
I get some apple as well.
Cherry and apple.
Like
yeah,
a
with the fruit.
caramel
Yeah, definitely an apple.
dipped
Yeah,
apple.
I get powdered donut and oak.
This is grass, cut grass, and again that dusty corn.
Okay, now this is gonna be really weird. I get Bed Bath & Beyond. Like when you work on the doors at Bed Bath
Is
&
that
Beyond.
apple?
I don't know what the hell's. I don't know. All Bed Bath & Beyond smell like this. I have no idea why, but that's the nose is walking in Bed Bath & Beyond. It's right at the very front doors. When the doors open up, it's what it smells like in the front of those stores.
Interesting.
I don't know why. It's just. Also,
That's-
yeah.
That's
If I
got
were
so
Bed
much
Bath
going
&
on in
Beyond, I'd
there.
be excited about that.
Yeah, really.
You just got yourself a shameless plug.
Unlit candle wax. It's got spearmint and cocoa, but also got melted milk chocolate. This is a complex.
There's so much
note.
going on in the nose. I'm excited to get into it.
It's also got like like s'mores when they're melted with the graham crackers. Shrubberies.
That's very, very yummy. It is hot and
Oh, yeah.
explosive.
It's very hot.
Heck, you guys are.
There's a high proof to it for sure. But but it's still kind of round for being as high proof as it is. It's not nearly as spiky as a lot of over 115, over 120 can absolutely be.
It's hot, it's spicy, it's oaky, clove, you can get the corn in there, dark caramel.
See, it even still on the nose. I'm still on the nose because it just smells good. It's also red peppers and cider.
The red peppers. The red peppers actually show up on the flavor as well.
Yeah.
I didn't pick them up on the nose.
Part of that
but
spicy.
there's almost that jalapeno level of spice to it.
Yeah, and when I say spicy, I mean that side of spicy, a pepper type of spicy.
Yeah. Right, not so much even hot, just that smell. If you get just like a fresh cut red pepper, the oak and the cinnamon on the taste, and I get also red apple skins on it.
There's apple for days on this bourbon.
Oh yeah, I like that a lot about it. It's like I said, with the caramel colored apples, but also with some of the things that you've mentioned, like apple pie-ish, and like it's got that slight sweet to it as well.
But it's also got the bacon spices, the nutmeg and cloves and spearmint, but also it's got like a firewood that's been sitting out on the driveway. Not so much burning, just sitting out in the driveway.
Just like fresh cut wood.
Not even so much fresh cut, just sitting there, been sitting there for a while, and you're gonna burn it.
Okay.
The water on this one dialed down the intensity from the proof. All of the flavors remained constant and very, very loud and very, very present.
So if the proof is too much for you,
a drop of water is not going to kill everything else.
Good to know.
Yeah, and it actually makes it a little bit more creamy. Instead of being a little bit flat and a little bit thin, I feel like a drop of water on this one actually gave a creamy texture to it as well. I prefer it with the drop. That's awesome.
Good to know.
I also get those fried cherry pies from Mrs. Baird. You ever had those? It's got that thick crust and that powdered sugar on it, the icing on it. The glaze. It's a rich cake flavor. This is good. This is really good bourbon.
Really good bourbon. Yeah.
So they made, I think, 100 bottles of this one. So so this one's a little more accessible to bourbon. It's still really hard to find. It's highly allocated, but if you find one, it's expensive. But if you pay retail, totally buy it. It's amazing.
Very, very good bourbon.
Oh yeah.
Very unique bourbon. I mean, like, we're talking about all the same classic bourbon notes, but it's still very divergent from some of those as well.
It's more in depth than just your normal classic bourbon notes.
It is.
To me.
It's very, very deep and rich. It has a very complex finish to it. I like that.
It's complex like a scotch. There's so much going on in this bourbon. It's like, I don't know which ones he blended into this. Obviously, he didn't tell us. He did a fantastic job, though. So, Dixon Dedman is a good man, to say the least.
I sure appreciate his work.
I'm sure your grandfather would be, or great-great-grandfather would be totally proud of you making this. This is awesome stuff.
Yeah. Before we don't have any more.
Yeah.
Keep crusading for better whiskey in your glass.
Cheers.
Okay. Be the people.
Something.